afternoon. I'm Curtis.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Dylan.
Welcome to our podcast today.
The first ever.
The first ready to come.
Yep.
So today we're going to talk about just kind of some generic subjects that we run into with customers frequently. We got some tech questions that get presented to us all the time from different people. So we're going to let one of our lead salespeople get us started on what they get in the field when they're out.
Okay, I think the first main thing is just a lot of people don't understand what IT really is. I think that'd be a good place to start, is just to break it down. What is IT?
Well, at Advanced Office Products, IT has many different facets to it, but the IT stands for Information Technology. I, being the Director of Technology here at Advanced Office, and Brandon being the manager, and Jeremiah being one of our lead techs, we encompass many parts of technology, whether it be a basic computer usage, it could be your server in your office technology, it could be your printing technology, it could be your internet-based technology. All of those things come underneath that umbrella of information technology. And so we cover many different facets of that to help a business or even homes, get up and running to keep things going so that they're able to share the data or information that they need to do their jobs.
A very detailed answer.
So support of a technical environment.
Do you find that a lot of people are just kind of ignorant to the fact of how important IT is for business, or?
I don't think, I agree that they're ignorant in areas. What I find frequently is if you go into an office, the person that you're dealing with, they're very knowledgeable on their area. And if you step outside of their area, whether it be they don't want to know anymore, or they don't, I don't ever want to say they don't care, because they do, but they may not know more than their area. Right. So they do become ignorant into technology and how it can do more for them, because they don't need it to do more for them, because they can do their job. And what I find is I can show someone that I can watch someone doing something and then show them in 3 clicks how they can do it faster. That was taking them 10. And they're just blown away by it. They said, man, that saves me so much time. And they didn't know, and just like you said, the ignorant, they didn't know that existed.
Right.
And so they were ignorant to that part, but they're not ignorant in doing their job, because they know all the buttons to click to get their job done.
Sometimes they don't know all the shortcuts.
Right.
And we talked about that with the audit we did the other day. Years ago, the business supported the network.
Yep.
But then as time evolves, the networks are now supporting the business. Mm-hmm. And you're in that transition period where people are having to change their mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just talking to someone today, and they know that it's coming, and they know that it's something that needs to be done, but they're leery of it because it hadn't been the tried and true way up to now.
Right. Some people are afraid of change.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They
Most
don't.
definitely they're afraid of change.
People are afraid of Windows 10.
And they like the archiving thing. They're worried that once they burn or trash the documents, that it could be gone forever. They don't trust that it's going to be.
Trust that it's going to be available to them, and not only available to them, easier to get to.
Right. Exactly.
And easier to find the information that you're looking for. And I've proven that to people, and it's interesting when you see the lights come on, and they're like, "Oh, this is so much nicer."
Yep.
Yeah. Especially when you pull something from like shadow copy that they thought was deleted forever.
Right.
They're like, "Oh, where you just pulled it out of nowhere?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
It's from the cloud."
It's magic."
So do you think the more we could train and teach people, the easier change becomes?
I think the more people know exactly, that it does become easier. But I think there's a line there that you got to be careful with, because you could teach someone a lot more, and that doesn't have anything to do with their job. So you're not really helping them.
Right.
So we
Teaching
got to
them
learn
uses
how to
information.
teach them the correct information they need to make it easier to do their job.
Right. Make it relevant to their.
Because there's so
position.
many of different parts of it. I was in an office just the other day, and I was watching a lady use her computer, and she did not know how to navigate the computer to find files. her means of navigating the computer was to open Word, go to File, Open, and then navigate from inside of there to open a PDF file or open an Excel file. She navigated everything from
Through
inside of Word.
I didn't know you could do that.
She would right click on a file and say open with Adobe Acrobat from inside Word.
Huh.
And I said, I looked at her, I said, ma'am, I said, you have a little folder you can click on, you can get anywhere. Well, what do you mean? And I showed her how to navigate the computer, and this was a whole new experience for her.
Yeah.
And she's been doing this for years.
Wording it out.
So yes, information is key, and training is extremely important. But again, focus on what they need to be trained on.
So in that situation, you got your screen on there. If someone wants to find any type of file on their computer, what's the most efficient way?
Press start and start typing.
Yep.
So if I was looking for a program like Excel, I just hit the start key and it'll come up, and without hitting anything else, I just type the word Excel. And there it is, that came up. And Windows 10, not only does it search your computer, but it will also search the internet for you. So I could click off of this, I could hit start and then type ESPN, for instance. And it'll go out and find the search the web results for me. And it'll do different things, like if I could go see the web results, it'll go open up the internet for me and take me to ESPN right there.
Huh.
That's not good. 'Cause it's blocked.
Bing. Yep. That's it.
You have Bing blocked.
Yes, we have Bing
Bing's
blocked.
blocked.
Yep.
But
I noticed that somewhere else too.
But that start button, people are afraid of the start button. It's where everything starts in Microsoft. Literally, it's where everything starts. If you want to go anywhere in a Windows-based computer, you click the start button. And it's that way for servers and desktops both. And so people do not understand, when Windows 10 was released 4 years ago, the start button became the most useful tool you had. It wasn't just a place to go access your programs, it was also a place to go find everything. And the start button in Windows 10 became one of the most powerful tools you have on your computer.
Yep. And that's the same on a Mac, control spacebar. Not control, command spacebar. It brings up a spotlight for me.
Oh,
And you just start typing.
ready to roll. See,
Now, so, and we talked about this beforehand, somebody searches for something, show them how to create a shortcut on their desktop to get to it.
There's different ways to do create shortcuts within Windows. For me, I'm a taskbar person, okay, as you can see on my computer up here. I have all of my common used programs along the taskbar, about 20 of them down here. But if I had a program I wanted to add to my taskbar, I could go up here and let's say, for instance, I wanted to add PowerPoint as a taskbar item. I could just search for it, and when I find it, I just right click on it, and there's an option down there that says pin to taskbar. And so I click, and then you'll see it show up down here to the right. It's pinned now, I don't have to go look for it anymore, it's just there. So if I don't want it there anymore, I can always right click on it and unpin. Now, if you want it on your desktop, the same process, except you don't have to right click. So if I go type PowerPoint, if I just grab it, click and hold and drag it, you know what? I don't think it does it from the start. I think you have to do it.
Oh, you have to do it from the tiles?
Right. Or the menu items.
Well, that's
you
what
have
I'm
to
doing
find
wrong.
it in the menu. You can't do it from the search results. You go here, and I could scroll down. Like if I wanted to do Adobe Reader, I could grab and drag it. You can't do it from the search results.
Because the search results is a link
It's
to
not a link to the actual program, correct. So you have to find it in your menu item, and anything you have in your menu item, if I want to, for instance, if I wanted a shortcut on my desktop, I could grab any menu item I see here and grab it up there, drag it up there, and it'll be a shortcut. One of the other things that people don't really get is shortcut to web pages. So if I were to open Chrome, and I use Chrome as my default web browser, I have a lot of links to different pages that I visit frequently, and those are called bookmarks. And so if you go up here into the top, the three little dots, you can go down to your bookmarks. And so here are all the bookmarks that I use. And any one of them that I wanted to create a shortcut on my desktop for, like for instance a Meraki link, I can just same thing, click and hold, drag that right over to my desktop, and now I don't have to even open Chrome anymore. I can just go directly to the shortcut on my desktop, open up, and it takes me directly to the website that I had linked there. Extremely fast and efficient way to create shortcuts on your desktop, because people enjoy shortcuts on their desktop more than anything else, because it's the first thing they see when they turn their computer on, and they know how to get to places from there. One of the most common questions I get asked is how to create shortcuts. It's many, at least 5-10 times a week I get customers asking me to show them how to create shortcuts.
So you could essentially just not have to open up the web browser anymore. Just
You could
work off shortcuts.
If you got 15 pages that you visit all the time, just create a shortcut to every one of them on your desktop and
You really have customers like that who just wanted their shortcuts.
Oh, I've seen many. I've seen desktops filled with shortcuts.
Just
And
put them in a folder.
I look at them and say, I get you need all the stuff, but how do you find anything?
Start button.
Start button.
So what are some of the questions that you think we could explain better when we like introduce our company to people?
Again, I think it just goes back to, unless you're an IT guy, you really have no idea what it is or what it means, or the benefit it could provide. I mean, like you said, it can not only make your life a whole lot easier, but it can make the business run a whole lot better. It can streamline processes. It can automate things that you're spending hours on that would make it take potentially 5 minutes. I think the thing that would do really well is just to stress the importance of it and the potential that it could have for every business. It's not just for whatever, if you have furniture, or if you're medical, or if you're an attorney. It doesn't matter what business you have, it has its own, I guess, niche for each business to make it better. And like you guys were saying, back to the servers and the switches, and I know I didn't understand what any of that meant. I just thought it was you got a modem for your computer, and then you have an internet cord to go to the internet.
And that's how you get internet.
And
that's how most people think of IT.
Yeah.
One of the things I try to stress across all the businesses that we work with is the speed of a computer and technology. We all get frustrated with slow computers, but in an average business I go to, I'll go work on somebody's computer. That computer is anywhere from 3 to 6 years old. Mm-hmm. It's very rare for me to sit down to a computer that's less than 2 years old. And what they don't understand is, as the computer gets older and slower, it takes an employee longer to do a task. So if they're working at their computer completing a task and it takes them 45 minutes to do this task, if the computer was faster, they could do that same task in 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So on an average day, I could save them 45 minutes to 2 hours just by getting a better computer, which easily equates back to money in their pocket.
Right.
So you could take a customer and has 10 computers that are 5 or 6 years old. They spend, whatever amount of money to upgrade to better hardware, make that initial investment, get a better computer for everyone. Now this person, instead of clicking and waiting and watching the wheel spin, they're clicking, getting the information they need, and moving on down the road to the next thing.
Right.
And they're more responsive to the customer that's calling on the phone, because the information's popping up on the screen faster. Every bit of it. Speed is very important, and it's inexpensive to obtain. You could take a 4-year-old computer and upgrade it for $200 and make it better than it was when you bought it.
So not upgrade the whole computer, but just the hard drive?
Part of it. Take a hard drive, maybe more memory.
SSD, man.
Yeah, put a faster hard drive. Old hard drives were very slow and sluggish, and they took a long time to read. When I talk about hard drives, one of my favorite analogies to tell someone is, old hard drives were like a record player that we used to have, and we would put a black vinyl record player on and put the arm on there and listen to it. That's literally the way a hard drive works. It's a spinning disc with an arm that reads across it. Well, today's technology is an MP3 player that has no moving parts in it. And so we've gone from the old phonographic record to an MP3 player that we don't have to pick the arm up and move it to the next song. We hit a button and it just jumps and goes for us, and every bit of it. We can shuffle through 10,000 songs in seconds. And that's the same thing the way a hard drive works in a computer. You go from an old spinning hard drive to a new, faster solid state hard drive, 10 to 15 times faster. I pick on my son a lot. My son's a computer person as well. When he was 13, he built his own computer. And when he got all built and everything, he turned it on for the first time after initial load and all that. It booted in 13 seconds. And that's from a solid state hard drive. I mean, from the time we turned it on till we were at the login screen was 13 seconds. How many people do we know can boot their computer up in 13 seconds?
I remember I used to have a really old computer and it took like 5 minutes to come up. And I remember that old like scratching noise you would hear when it was reading the hard drive.
Sounds like a fax machine.
I just, a couple weeks ago, I had a lady at one of the offices says when she turns her computer on, she goes and gets some coffee.
Yeah, she has some time to take a break.
She knows she's got at least 3 or 4 minutes before she can even log in.
Whenever you say, I guess, the speed and upgrading a hard drive, that, I mean, to me, that you guys were already losing me. So what is that? Is it the processing speed?
Here's the way to look at a computer. In a computer, you have a brain, which is your processor. You have a filing cabinet, which stores all your files and programs, which is the hard drive. And then you have a desktop or a working space, which we call RAM, or memory, working memory. Anything you do, when you click a program in it, loads it up into what's called RAM. And
That's your short-term memory.
Right, that's your short-term memory. Everything you're working on that you're looking at, just imagine your desk, and you go pull a file out of the filing cabinet and lay it on your desk. Well, that file is now active in RAM. If you go get another file and lay it, if you go get another file and another file, another file, and if you look at this table, we could put a lot of files on it because we have a lot of RAM. But if you have a small desk where you can only get 3 files on it at one time before you start stacking them up, then you don't have much RAM. So what it has to do is, when you bring that 4th file on, it has to move something out of the way and let that file, so it may come from underneath to move up on top. So it has to move things around, which slows your computer down. Anytime you have to do that shuffle like that, you're going to slow your computer down. So when you get a faster computer with more faster hard drive and all that, that shuffle is still happening. It's just doing it in 1/10 of the time. And so when we want to replace the hard drive, what we're going to do is replace the filing cabinet. You got an old 10-drawer filing cabinet in there that you have to pull out and everything, and now we're going to go get you a digital roller caster here and everything. We get everything right up front, put you a brand new filing cabinet in there that's super fast. And it's a in-place upgrade. We basically just take a snapshot of your existing hard drive, put it onto the new hard drive, swap them out, turn it back on, you're right back where you were. Never lose a second, never lose any bit of data. It's seamless to you in the process, but in the end, it's a much faster computer and you're much happier when you click something.
I think that scares a lot of people too, knowing that they're going to have to move all of this stuff into another place.
People do worry about their files getting
Absolutely. Anytime you start messing with people's data, they get scared.
I get a little nervous too when they're like, that file's not there, and then they scroll down and they're like, oh, that's fine.
But they get scared about moving their data, but they don't have no disaster recovery plans.
No. That's
There's so many places that don't.
Or they got the little USB on their server, like, oh, we back up to that.
Yeah, the Seagate's fine.
Yeah. Like, when's the last time you tested it? Like, tested? What do you mean?
You see that so often with people. I had a lady, it was probably been 6 months ago, crying and everything when she lost all her pictures on her computer. And she said, these are my life. And I said, ma'am, you didn't back it up. How could it have been that important to you?
Yep.
She says, well, I just thought it was going to be okay.
Yeah, she thought it was going to be there forever.
Everybody got used to the iPhone.
Yeah.
It automatically backed everything.
It does cloud backups.
So
computers don't.
If your data is not being backed up, then the data is not important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the second part of that, if you're not checking your backup, then your data is still not important to you.
Yep.
Because you can be backing up, and every day it backs up, there's an error, and you never look at that error to see what it is. And so 6 months later it dies, and for 6 months I've been getting an error that I never looked at. It was worthless.
Yep.
So not only do you have to back it up, you have to verify your backup's happening. And it's extremely important to do that, especially in today's world with crypto viruses and things like that encrypt your files. And steal stuff off your computer.
Right, with good backups, you never have to worry about crypto.
Never at all.
That's what threw me off. Everybody's so scared of these crypto viruses, but it's really just
Right,
a
and
pain.
people are paying the ransom and stuff like that to get their data back, which why would you do that if you had good backups?
If you have a good backup plan, there's nothing to worry about. Today's backup is so much more sophisticated than it was even 5 years ago. In today's backup industry, you do versioning. So you could delete a file off of your computer today, or let's say not delete, let's say you change it. And then tomorrow you change it, the next day you change that same file, and then you realize, I need to go back to my original version. I can go back to the version 3 edits ago and bring that up. That's what versioning is. So even though you changed it yesterday and the day before, I can go back to Monday, copy and restore that for you. And now you got the original version back before you made all those changes.
Yeah.
And so that's why the crypto is, it's basically a nil process if you do a good backup, because even if it encrypts it and encrypts it overnight while you're not there, and all the encrypted files get backed up, I just roll back to the previous version.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That was the attorney. Couldn't access a PDF. So we literally just deleted the whole company database, just moved one over from backup, and was like, okay, try now.
What?
So crypto is technically just more of a nuisance than a problem.
Right. And easily avoidable.
Yeah.
Yep.
But your data is so important, it's worth that $300,000 for the decryption code when they could have paid $100 and you had a good backup.
Yeah. So what all kinds of backups are there to is it like you said, you put it on a USB or?
No, it's all software. It's all software based. There's so many things out there for the end user. Let's call it the person at home. There's multiple ones. iDrive is one, Carbonite, different things like that. One of the things I don't like to see people get confused about is they treat their Google Drive or their OneDrive as their backup. Well, it's not a backup. It's a sync source so that you can get access to these files in multiple locations.
It's a remote filing cabinet.
Now, it does also serve as a backup to some degree, so that, for instance, I personally use one of those services, and if this laptop were to die, I could go get a new laptop, turn it on, and then reinitialize that sync, and all my stuff comes back. So from that standpoint, it is a backup. But if I were to have a crypto virus hit this computer, it would, as soon as all these files get encrypted, they would get synced to that source.
And it would
encrypt
it.
It would sync everywhere else that I use, and so now those files are all worthless to me.
So there's a difference between
it's a
syncing
copy.
and then having a backup.
Yeah.
Right. So not only do I use a sync source so that I can get access to them on my phone, on my tablet, on my laptop, on my desktop, all of my files are available to me everywhere I go, I also do a backup every night. So that if my files come encrypted, then I can go to my backup and restore it. So don't think of Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive or Dropbox or any of those services as a backup source. They are to a degree, but remember, they're synchronizing all your files, and if one of them gets infected and starts moving across, all your synchronized files are now infected as well.
That's why it's important to have different passwords for different websites too.
Exactly. Protect your data at all costs.
And Microsoft and Amazon and Google will never call you for your password.
No, they won't.
Just
What?
Microsoft calls me all the time.
April of this year, the most valuable asset on the planet became data. It surpassed the value of oil and everything else.
I believe it.
Data is the most valuable thing on the planet today.
Yep, absolutely.
$5 trillion industry and data.
And that's the whole core of AI. That's what it uses to become better.
Yep.
Previous data.
So you think about what makes your business run. It's not that computer, it's what that computer's accessing.
Right, it's not paperwork anymore. It's all digital.
We were talking about that the other day with like over 1,300 accounts here. If we lost one database, you couldn't recover. You can't remember 1,300 people.
That's right.
No.
Like, okay, I was billing Fred. How much?
Well, we acquired a customer because of that very process.
Yeah.
They had a program they were using to manage their company. This program was 19, 20 years old.
Wow.
And it was still running on the 19, 20-year-old computer. and that computer died, and they didn't have a good backup, and they literally lost 20 years worth of data.
Gone.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They've had 5 people working since then, recreating the entries from paper.
Oh, where do you think the problem is? Like, to me, it just seems common knowledge. Okay, this piece of hardware is 15 to 20 years old. I don't have a backup of it. Like, at what point does it like?
They just
it's like
it just has always worked this way. I've heard that so many times, and it just works.
What does it take to let that light come on and say,
right.
I've got to do something to protect myself?
The
gotta
destruction
break.
of your entire company.
It has to
That's what
break.
it takes.
I tell everyone I know, every hard drive fails.
Everyone.
100% of them.
It's just win.
It's not if, it's when. It's always when.
Yeah.
Every hard drive fails. Do not ever put your business at the mercy of what's on a hard drive.
Yeah.
Because accidents happen too, you know.
You get electrical storms, you get power surges, you get viruses, you get computers just freeze up.
Or fires, things like that.
You know, I refer to customers all the time because that's what I see. Just last week, Tuesday at a school, we were working there, and Tuesday morning going to work, their data's gone. Gone. That's just not there. The drive that held all of their school's data failed. It just quit working. It was no longer spinning, it no longer accessible.
Well, you used a record player. It's like putting a record player and turning it on and never turning it off.
Never turning it on. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that hard drive was
Yeah.
completely gone. We put in a new hard drive, connected it up, and in less than 24 hours, we had 1.5 terabytes of data restored back, and that school didn't miss a beat.
Dang.
Didn't lose a single piece of information, not one.
That's a terabyte. So how many? We talked about this the other
1
day.
trillion. You start with a megabyte,
That's
a
it.
million, a gigabyte's a billion, and a
With a B.
terabyte's 1,000 gigabytes. So 1 trillion. They had 1.5 trillion. What did I do the math the other day? 4 gig is
bytes?
4 gigabytes is a DVD.
Oh, that's right. It was like
So it's 300 something
yes.
DVDs worth of data. If you stacked up 300 something DVDs, that's how much data they had.
Yeah, normal DVDs are about 4.7 gigabytes. A terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. So it would be about 213 DVDs.
For one, and they
It's
had
like a
they had 1.5. So add another 100 and something
Yeah.
to that. It was over 300 DVDs.
I think it's so funny that it's like a catch-22. It's people that don't want to trust technology, but at the same time they have so much faith in it that they don't
Right.
want to take the precaution.
Oh, it's never gonna break.
Yeah. But hey, let's not push it to the newer technology because it might not work.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want to fix this old technology because it's working good.
I have a close friend that they got a neighbor right by them. They live in a rural part of the town here, and they just got internet for the first time last week. And
They realize it's 2019.
just 2019, they got internet for the first time in their house. And I was over helping them set up Netflix, and they were so excited to have technology in their house. They didn't know what to do.
In what age range are these people?
These are, people in their 50s, but they didn't care. They didn't live in technology-based jobs or anything like that.
Yeah.
They use computers at work or anything, but it didn't mean anything to them. The little bit of stuff they needed to do on the internet, they did on their phone.
I was listening to the radio on the way here. So you have people on that extreme. And then this guy was so mad because he just had a newborn kid and walks up to the TV and is trying to swipe on YouTube. And he can't understand why it's not moving. It's like it's a TV, it's not touchscreen.
And one of the schools we work with, they have a technology lab, and when they first moved to touchscreens in their lab back 5 or 6 years ago, you see the kindergartners and first graders, when they come into the lab and sit down, the first thing they do is put their hands on the screen.
You're ready.
They don't reach for a mouse or anything. They just hit the screen and start going. And
How much longer do you think we're going to have keyboards?
That's exactly right. It's what you look at. Where are we going? If you back up 20 years ago, whenever mouse and everything was there, that was it. We didn't even have wireless mouse and keyboards back then. Everything was on a wire.
Ugly gray mouse.
And then and now touchscreen and tablets and everything and the phones and the way they all work, all the kids today from ages 2 and beyond up to 10, 12, they only know to put that screen in front of them and use their finger. That's it.
That's funny because I'm really not that big a fan of touchscreen. I don't like fingerprints.
I don't like them. I don't like them on my computer, but I do enjoy my iPad or
Yeah.
phone or whatever.
Yep.
I think that's I think that might be a really. I say it could be good, but for the younger generation, not needing to be able to type, just that could be a good advancement to be able to, for like kindergartners and first graders where they're just now learning things, to be able to have an interactive screen to be able to poke at it and to be able to move like that.
I think it's twofold, because if you look at history, the greater technology becomes, the less we retain. So like spelling comes from, we used to have a great vocabulary and then it slowly diminished, and now we're using BRB and LOL and JK and
Don't make
bet.
fun of the way it tags.
So it's like
triggered.
I've heard people say, why do they need to spell? They have a phone in their hand.
Yep. But then it goes back to the way, like, you used to want to use calculators in school, and they're like, you're never going to grow up with a calculator in your pocket. I'm like, you're right, I got a supercomputer in mine.
Right.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I had dyslexia, and my teacher, she told my mom that he really doesn't need to learn how to spell, because spell check in the future is going to take care of everything.
She had
I
faith.
went to public school.
Yes, she had faith in tech.
But what happens when you need to pull out a pen and start writing something? Where's the spell check in?
Oof.
Now they got things like Grammarly, and it'll autocorrect the.
I want to
like,
try it out.
It'll fix your whole
It's
sentence.
yeah, like you swap these words. It's not just spell check anymore. Say it this way.
Right.
It's crazy.
Makes you sound smarter.
You can do plugins in your browser that will literally correct your sentence for you.
That's crazy.
But
I
it's
would have killed for that in college.
but people should
Yeah.
use it to give them a little edge, not just totally rely on it. I don't think
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I don't care.
It's all opinion.
Just bang on the keyboard. It'll get it right.
I might go back for my master's now that this is technology.
Yeah.
So what other things do you see from the customers out there that they look for?
Let me think.
Paper
Paper.
Talk about it.
everywhere.
Yes. So the back to the backup deal, a lot of them just want to know what to do. Like they have all this information, as like you said, they have years and years and years of information that they want to scan in. They have one person doing it one thing at a time, but they don't know what to do with it or where to go or how much it should be or really anything. They just know they need all of this, boxes and boxes of papers and information to be able to go digital. And they don't know
where to start with it?
I mean, they other than just getting one person to sit there one thing at a time, scanning it,
not
and
efficient.
not at all.
Well, it has to start at that level. It has to start with someone putting it in a scan. It literally has to start that way. But what's on the other end of that is the question.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many different processes out there, and we offer different solutions for that, where not only do you scan it in, but when you put that thing in the copier or scanner that you're using, it's going to prompt and ask you, give me a customer name, give me a customer number, give me a file name, things like that. So as soon as you start scanning that 50-page document, you're telling technology what that 50-page document is at that point. Then as soon as it's done scanning, it's saved, put on a server somewhere, it's indexed. We can now find it by name, by job number, all this different stuff.
Right.
The technology also allows me to scan and search inside documents.
Mm-hmm.
I could have a case number, and I could say that I scanned in 30 different clients, and 2 of those clients were involved in this one case number, for instance. I could search on case number and pull those 2 clients' files out after searching all of them because it found the case number in their files. Different things like that. So there's parts of technology, and this is where, back to what we first started with about them being ignorant to it, they don't know that technology exists.
Mm-hmm.
They know they can scan this file in and save this file, and then if they need it, they can go back and find Mary Jane's file. Boom, there's it is, 25 pages, let me
And
find
then they
it.
search for it manually.
They go search for it manually that way,
Really?
and all that kind of stuff.
So they don't know about OCR readers and how you
know,
can just
see-
control
you
F.
see that a lot, that they just like you said, they put somebody at a scanner, they grab this client's file, stick it in there, get done, save the file.
The one we met with the other day, 20-something, 30 people in their firm, everyone scans differently.
Yep. That's what I was just about to
Yeah.
say.
So there's not a standard
No,
process.
they have data all over the place on personal computers.
Yep.
Saved different
Emails.
ways. The same document could be saved 2 different ways.
Yeah.
None of it's.
Then
none
you
of
got
it's in-
duplication. I scan it in, you scan it in, he scans it in. I got a copy of my email, my
I see
documents.
a lot of duplication.
Yeah.
I've literally seen, you talk about not knowing how to use technology. I've seen a person print out a document from their computer, walk over to the copier, scan it in so that they can save it as a PDF.
And they just threw away the other piece of paper.
Threw the piece of paper away.
Stop.
What's wrong with that?
And I stopped them. I said, "You do know you can just hit file, save that, right?" No.
Oh man.
You go to Word to get to all your documents.
So, yeah, I love stories about clients, and because I see so many different things. I have the best time with them and everything. I saw this young person one day. They had a PowerPoint presentation they had to give, and it was 8 pages. And so they were sitting there. They printed out an 8-page document on a color printer. Okay, and PowerPoint prints color, background, everything. He grabs the
25 cents a
document
piece.
out of the printer, and he gets to the second page and it's got a mistake. He throws the 8 pages in the recycle bin, goes back, fixes page 2, prints all 8 pages out again. Page 4's got a mistake, throws it all away. On the 3rd time I stopped him, I said, "Oh, we are wasting a lot of ink." I said, "Can you not just read all 8 of them on your screen and then print them out once you're sure?"
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Good
idea.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't realize the print selected page. Just print page 3.
Right, that's exactly right. They don't know how to print just an individual page, things like that. I tell people all the time, I would love to sit down when you teach how to use a computer. I said, I know you know how to do your job, but do you know how to use that computer? There's a big difference.
To be fair, before I started working in IT, I thought I knew stuff about computers, but then the more you work with them, you're like, I really didn't know anything.
Oh, people just scratch the surface of the paper.
I have been doing this longer than anybody here. I started doing
No
computers in 1990.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
Show you my surprised face.
And my first job was in Hawaii when I was the curriculum officer at a submarine base in Pearl Harbor. I sat down to a computer and I was like you. I was like, "What do you do? What does this thing do for me?" Within 6 months, it was like, Mozart to a piano, man. I was gone. This was what I was meant to do.
Yep.
I understood this. It all made sense to me. I started programming and every bit of that, and I've just gone from there. I've seen so many different things. People ask me, "How do you know that?" I said, "Well, it's not so much I know it. It's just I've seen it 100 times. It's embedded in me now because I've seen about every problem there is to see. And so now it's just instant recall for me. Oh yeah, you got this problem, do this, 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 this. And I do it, I'm in the car on the phone, I'm driving down the road, somebody calls me and I'm walking them through screen by screen on their computer while I'm driving. Just because I see it in my head.
Using that analogy, that's what, when I first got into it, this server was cool to have because all of your data was stored in one location. And it's like, oh, users, you could put users on this thing. And now, 15 years in just one server, people only use like 2% of its capability.
Right.
But they've got a server. Like, they can do so much more.
I have my own domain.
Yeah. I think that's why we run so little calls versus how many people we have, is because of that standards book.
Yeah.
We put so much emphasis on a server. I think
You can server run your business.
Yep.
I mean, a server can take over.
Yep.
It can prevent things from happening. You can set rules and regulations and strict enforcement of different things across your network that the server maintains to prevent people from doing harm to themselves.
It's like I'm a cop there 24 hours a day. Like, nope, you gotta do this.
Now, on the other end, they're frustrated sometimes, but they learn quickly that this is protecting them more than it's hindering them. Because most viruses happen, or most mistakes happen, or most problems happen, not because someone did something on purpose.
Yeah.
It's because they accidentally clicked something that they weren't intending to click, or deleted something they didn't mean to delete, stuff like that.
Or they open something malicious,
Yep. Yeah, they said the number one vulnerability is the people.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's your layer 0.
Exactly. We had a client.
Layer 0.
We had a client at here in town that had a virus once that we called, and it was a crypto virus. It was bad. It was about 9 o'clock that morning. They called in and said, we got something going on, and we get on the server, and sure enough, it was a crypto virus. It had wiped out just about everything in the business. Well, we got together, went over there, got to back up, had the virus cleaned off, everything done, all that, and got everything back. Probably 2 hours.
Max.
Maybe. You know, had them back in business. Well, we get called back that afternoon, about 2:30. Hey, it's back. I'm like, what? I go over there, and what had happened was the person that clicked originally did not delete the email that they clicked in.
Oh no.
And when that person clicked again, I asked them, why did you do that? And they said to me, well, I never got to read what was in the email.
Oh no.
Well, surprise. That's what's in the email.
Yep.
So when you say the problem is the user, it almost always is. And it's not because they're maliciously trying to do something wrong. They're curious. Human beings are curious. They want to see, this was sent to me by so-and-so. I know them also, one of my mom's best friends. Let me see what she's sending me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doing things like that. And that happens all the time. And they don't realize that mom's best friend had been hacked and her computer's sending out emails to everybody in the address book, and you're one of the ones that got it, and there you go, you're in trouble.
So on the virus end of things, I'm trying to picture it in my head. So it's just a bunch of outside forces trying to get into the network.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Really?
Not always. No. That's a malicious attack when outside forces are coming in. Viruses come in via email or via a thumb drive you brought in from
So they can
house.
be done accidentally?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most cases they are done
I'd say
accidentally.
99% of them are.
Really?
You get an email that comes into your mailbox here and it's saying, hey, check out these pictures I just posted on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from someone you know.
Yep.
And you think, oh, yeah, let me see what he did. Click. You did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I will tell everyone straight up, you can spend as much money as you want on antivirus software. You can have the latest and greatest everything. None of them work, and all of them work.
Well, it starts with it's called phishing emails. And so you'll get an email from Curtis, and it says, hey, here's this document, and it's in Google Drive.
Yeah.
And then you click on it, it says, oh, you need permission, enter in your username and password. And when you do that, you just sent that username and password off.
They just saved it.
Yep. So they'll get into your email account and email everybody you know,
just
and
keeps
it
going.
multiplies.
So have you noticed lately in all the different security things, like when you get on your email, like Gmail's big about it now. So you log into Gmail for the first time and it says you got to validate yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Send a text to you or something like that. And then you go home and you get on your computer at home and you have to do it all over again. You think, I just did this at work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what they've done now is every time you open and access your account from a new location, they want to verify it's you so that this phishing stuff is prevented.
Yep.
Oh.
So that someone in Japan or whatever foreign country somewhere that's trying to hack into your email, they're going to have to go through that validation process before they can get in.
But that's not on by default, though.
Oh, no, it's not on my default.
Yeah.
It needs to be turned on.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. It's a security setting that you turn on.
So what? I guess back to the virus thing. So once they do get in, is it always they're trying to access your information? They're always trying to steal something, or is it just?
Let's back up just a little bit. Let's talk about a virus versus
Malware.
a malware brute force attack.
Okay.
Okay, you see TV shows where people are hacking things and stuff like that. That's someone coming from outside in. Okay, that's a person trying to get into your network. They're trying to steal your data.
Yeah.
They're trying to get credit card numbers. They're trying to get all that. That's a brute force attack from someone outside of your network.
It's targeted.
Yeah.
Right. Your firewall should be protecting you. Your server settings should be protecting you. All these different things should be protecting you from doing that. But hackers are hackers, and none of them are perfect. So they'll get in sometimes. A virus is just like it is for a human. It's an illness. Okay, you're walking around the mall, and the next day you know you got the flu because you just got exposed to someone that was in the mall that had the flu, whatever, boom, the virus got transferred to you. It works the same way in computers. The virus gets spread by email, by file sharing, by all these different processes where something gets sent to you and you initiate it after it's sent to you. Because just like clicking a link on an email or downloading a file from the internet, that initiated that virus. So now the virus is inside. It came to you via email, but once you click on it, then you put it inside.
The old Trojan horse tactic.
Now the virus is inside. Now it's going out to your network. Now it's making its move throughout your network. So most viruses are not attacks from outside in. They're from inside going to all of your stuff.
So what does it do once it's inside?
There's many different ones.
Yeah.
Some of them will delete files. Some of them encrypt files.
This is a good.
Just causes havoc.
Yeah,
Yep.
sometimes
Some of
it's
them
just
are
smash and
benign.
grab.
Some of them just put pop-ups on the screen just to annoy
for
you.
advertisements. Here's the two comparisons. A virus is a software that is capable of copying itself and has detrimental effects like corrupting the system or destroying data, versus malware, a variety of hostile or intrusive softwares that are harmful to the computer.
Okay, that makes sense.
So one's more targeted and one's just, if you get a virus, it's just going to copy itself and keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's just see how.
Viruses,
Yeah.
viruses are far more difficult to clean because you don't know everywhere they've been.
Yeah.
Malware is normally centrally located, doing things as where it's sitting.
Yeah.
So crypto malware, whatever, different things can happen like that where it's sitting in one place trying to bring you, what we call a denial of service, a DOS. It's trying to bring you down. It's trying to make everything work so hard that you can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, it cripples your networks.
Man, with our new fiber line, we can't ever get DOS.
Yeah, that's like Cloudflare mitigates that. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the big in behind all that stuff. And I preach antivirus software. I think it's absolutely important to have because it catches all that generic stuff. It prevents all that from happening. But when a new virus hits, you think any antivirus program knows about it yet? No.
What's the best way to teach people or make them understand how to use the internet to where they don't have 75 toolbars?
It's a hard thing because
I love seeing that.
Yeah.
So like your whole screen is toolbars.
it's a hard thing because that's a user preference.
It is.
It's called a PC for a reason. What's a PC?
Personal computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Good job.
A for effort.
Yes.
P for personal, right? It's
Yes.
called a PC for a reason. Even a Mac is a personal computer, so don't think any different. That was one of my other favorite questions. Do you have I asked a customer, I was trying to help them, and I need to know what type of computer they had. So I said, do you have a Mac or a PC? And she says, I have a laptop.
Oof. Good.
Okay.
Yep, good.
Okay.
I'll
good.
be there in a little while.
Just hold tight.
Yeah, don't do anything.
Close the lid and walk away slowly. Yeah. So it's all about training. The more
It is all about training. That is where every business needs to start. Right there. We all know that. We've done that from the beginning. You get a new employee in, you have to train them to do their job. You get a new business started, everybody's got to be trained how to do different things. It's all about teaching people how to use a computer, how to be safe on a computer, what not to do. I do in-service training with teachers every year, and they all know, don't click. Don't click.
Yep.
Don't be curious
Yep.
because it's too expensive.
And I think that when you go back to your original question, what is IT? People should leverage their IT provider, whether it's in-house or managed IT people, for those type things. Ask questions. That's what.
I never get upset when people ask me how to do things. Never.
Not at all.
once. They can come to me if they need help.
Yeah, I'm
learning
more
how
than
do
happy to
something.
show you.
Yeah.
I will rather spend 5 minutes teaching you how to do something
And 2
than
hours
spend
cleaning
2
the
hours
virus.
fixing what you were messed up trying to do something.
Yeah.
Don't delete your system files.
Yeah. And that's the problem. An IT department has two I guess main jobs: run the network according to best practices, safe, secure, backed up, and training. That's it. That's what IT people are.
Every call I go on, 100% of the calls I go on, it's not just fixing the problem. Because they always ask, well, what was wrong? Well, let me show you what was wrong. This is what happened, this is what caused it. It's, it's just the way it is. My biggest, I guess the biggest problem I face out there is updates, computer updates. They create more problems for me than any other single source out there.
Yep.
Because everything was working good today.
Yeah,
and
then
tomorrow,
the patch came out.
The next day it's not. A new update came on the computer.
That's just a PC thing. Macs don't have that
Macs
problem.
don't have that issue. Just like driver issues don't exist
No
on
one uses
PC.
Macs. That's why they don't ever update it.
Can't get crypto on that.
Nope. No, that's
So,
exactly right.
That's a tough one to overcome, though. I mean, it's really difficult to overcome that problem because updates are updates, and they're very, very, very important. I will never tell you not to do your updates because you should, but they do create problems.
So as a business, they need to be more proactive on providing training and knowledge for the employees.
Yep.
And then as an IT company, we need to be more adamant on pushing information to the businesses.
Information and training availability,
Be
resources.
a little bit more strong-handed or strong-armed on that, I guess.
It's hard to do that.
I mean, just make it readily available.
Not everyone wants to give up time for training.
Right. Yeah, you need to teach them the benefit of being taught.
Yep. Like this. This is going to be a video, audio, word, and they can read it at 8 o'clock at night or 4 in the morning, whenever they want. But then that also brings up another point. The difference between a managed IT provider like we are versus a break-fix person. And for a long time, people knew a technical person, but every time they come out, it was $150. And so they wouldn't want to call them.
Yep.
And they're bringing that mentality into a managed IT world to where it's completely backwards.
We just had her ask that question yesterday.
Yep.
So you're telling me this, I have to pay so much amount for so much time. I can call you 150 times for the same problem, and you're going to come out here and fix it no matter what, no extra cost.
Yep.
That's correct.
And it's the motivator. So a managed service provider, we're set. It's $100 a month, or whatever. Well, that's all we have to work with versus a break fix. It's $100 for every time. So our purpose and goal is to make the network more and more and more and more efficient. So we don't want to have to deal with problems all the time.
We can prevent a lot of problems.
Versus
Not
break
only
fix.
prevent, but help them and teach them how to use it properly so that it doesn't come on down.
Can maintain that.
Versus break fix, they don't want to permanently fix the problem because
You
they're
don't have to
relying
pay
on that
them.
money. Yeah.
Here's one of the things that you can teach people when you sell about managed IT versus break fix. If you call me 3 times on break fix, you just bought a new computer. So you wasted time. You could have bought a brand new computer the first time you called me, paid me once to set it up, and you'd have been fine for the next 3 years.
And that's 3 times over the life of that computer.
You just bought a new computer. Whereas when you do managed IT, you pay one price for the whole business and you're not broken down. You could have 100 calls in a month or 5 calls in a month. It doesn't matter. It's the same number every month.
But if you call your managed IT people for the same problem multiple times a month, I think you need to find a new one.
Right, yeah, something's not getting fixed.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing I teach people about. I'm looking at that. I said, look, you keep calling me to fix this computer and I'll keep charging you, but
It's time for it to go.
at some point we've exceeded.
We can migrate all this data.
It is Windows XP and 16 years old. It is time to upgrade.
Let it go.
I hate seeing a Windows XP PC.
I'm looking forward to the next month or two.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
We
be
got
fun.
about Windows 7 into life is in January.
Oh.
No more security patches,
Right,
no more updates.
nothing on Windows 7 at all, end of life. And it's a sad time because Windows 7 was literally one of the best operating systems
It was a good operating system.
Microsoft came out with. But
Not ME?
What about Vista, man? Vista was
he
great.
probably doesn't know what ME is. ME
It was
is
the
Millennium Edition.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about Maine.
Yep. It was the best.
Oh man, it was horrible.
It was trash.
But Windows 7 was good, very solid, very stable. I mean, it had a lot of great features into it, and what I called Windows 7 was Windows Vista that worked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Vista came out right before 7, like 2 weeks before, and then they fixed it and released 7.
Same thing with 8 and 10.
Yeah, 8 came out, and a little while later 10 followed. But
8 was
as Windows 7 end of life comes along, you're not going to see people get rid of their Windows 7 computer right away. Well, what's sad is we've reached the point where now all these computers have to be updated. Because if you're going to use it in a network environment, you're going to have to protect your information. If you're not getting security patches or anything, you're going to see vulnerabilities, bad things are going to happen.
Explain that, because I know until I heard you guys talking about it, I wasn't aware that. I thought like, okay, so Windows 10's coming out. That just means that there's a better version.
Yeah, someone's
than
just trying
7.
to sell you something new.
Right. Like why do I have to upgrade?
Let's talk about your house. You got a house, right? You live in a house, and you have a key on the front door, and it's a standard key, okay? Well, people in the neighborhood are learning how to get past that keyhole, get past that, and get into that lock. The whole neighborhood has the same basic front door with a key. So we need to upgrade those keys, the keyhole, the lock, everything. We need to do all that. We need to do that. So some of you start upgrading. We get one of those touchpad ones. You start doing that. And then some of us start doing a little more upgrading. We start putting lock chains on there. We put in some security cameras. So every bit of that are updates that we're doing to our security operating system, our system. So we keep improving the process because we found vulnerabilities in our original design. That's what a Windows update is for. So if you have Windows 7, we're no longer going to get any of those. The vulnerabilities will keep getting identified. They'll still keep happening because we're not changing it. And when it becomes stagnant like that, where now from this point on it's never getting changed, so we know now every possible vulnerability that exists, and anytime there's a Windows 7, we know we can always get in through this door right here. It's always going to be open because no one's doing anything to fix it anymore.
Yep.
So now every one of those Windows 7, 100% of those Windows 7 computers are now vulnerable by that one mistake because somebody found it and it's never going to be fixed.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
So every XP PC is vulnerable.
What really shocks me is 3 years ago or so, what was it, 15 when Windows 10 came out? We came out in October of 15, and for a year,
It was free.
it was free. All you had to do was click update. And that year, I probably had 75 calls. Can you come get this Windows 10 off my computer? It updated last night, and I don't want it on there. I want my Windows 7 back. And I would have to go and uninstall. There was a process to remove the update and take it away, and it'd take you a half hour. You'd be back at your Windows 7 computer, and had they just left it alone, they would not have to be spending the $190 now to upgrade it.
That's just for the license.
Right.
Plus
just
time.
Plus time.
License.
Yeah.
You have to buy Windows.
Yeah.
You
Microsoft's
have
a
to be
billionaire
able to
for a
have
reason.
Right. You have
Yeah.
to buy Windows 10. You got to go buy. That's a license.
How long does a license last?
It's for
Lifetime.
Yeah.
It's just it's one
Yeah,
initial
perpetuity.
purchase.
one, right.
And I will want to add to this, since we're on the topic of Microsoft and payments. Microsoft will never call you for an Amazon gift card.
Never.
Yeah, don't
Bill
ever
Gates
pay
is-
anyone in gift cards.
Bill Gates is not
Yeah.
sending out $1 million if you answer this email.
Nope. So don't pay tech support for Microsoft.
That
for that.
blows my mind that
The people do
pay
it.
for things in gift cards because they were like, oh, well,
I would
otherwise.
give anything to do a podcast with one of those people on the other end of the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what was your thought process there? Like,
Yep.
who do you have to pay?
We should
gift
call
cards?
one up and schedule that.
Yeah.
Can you meet us next
Can
Tuesday?
you call us next Tuesday?
Because that's what the IRS
Pretend-
scammers are doing too. They're like, yeah, you can pay your taxes
Oh.
back in gift cards. Like, how? That doesn't.
Yeah.
People get scared. I get it.
Yeah.
Look, this person went to the store, got an iTunes gift card, came back, and they told him it wasn't enough, went and got another one and came back.
So they were paying Microsoft with an Apple.
Right.
Company
iTunes gift cards.
It's the only payment they accept.
What about the Zoom, man? They
I
want-
liked my Zoom. Don't make fun of it.
I don't get people. I mean, I understand you're afraid of technology, and this all starts from where we started. We're afraid of that technology. We're afraid of something being on there. We're afraid of being hacked. Somebody calls in. This is my general rule of thumb. You get on a computer, you go to a website, and it pops up and it says your computer's infected. Right? We've all
Pretty
seen
scary.
that.
Yeah.
It's scary as all get out. How long did it take that message to pop up on your screen?
Couple seconds.
Couple seconds. Can you do anything else on your computer in a couple of seconds? Anything.
Can you pull up any website?
Can you open up Google Chrome in 2 seconds? Can you open up Word in 2 seconds? No. But yet that thing scans your entire computer and told you in 2 seconds you were totally infected.
Yep.
And people buy it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
They don't know. That's right.
It has to be true. It's
It
on the
has to be
internet.
true.
Yeah, the internet told you. It popped
It's
up.
set it.
That's what it blows my mind. I'm saying you can't do anything on your computer in the amount of time that just popped up.
Well,
and
I
it's
got
scanned it.
I got a Mac.
Blows me away.
I got a Mac, so mine can.
Yeah, it can.
Man, I got AdBlock.
What do you need it to? There's no viruses.
Yeah.
Ever.
I wouldn't want to.
They don't even make antivirus software for Macs.
No, nothing's even wrong
Mac
with it.
OS is an AV itself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
It's a master at computing.
I have a Mac. I know it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Cool
understand.
looking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, we've been going, I think, almost an hour. Isn't it? I
That's
think
what
so.
called a wrap.
Call it a wrap for today?
That's it.
All right.
Meeting
I'll see y'all
adjourned.
soon.
Yep.